everybody, just doing a moon jar with this last bit of clay before I put another load of clay. I thought I'd use this last bit of clay. It was left it slightly uncovered last night, so it's getting a lot stiffer, which is helpful when you're doing wide round bodies. If the clay is really soft, they sag really bad and you have to use a burner, and the gas has run out on my burner, so thought I'd use some stiff clay. I might go quiet once or twice. I can't talk all the way through this because I tend to hold my breath when I'm throwing heavy clay. Just find my pin. Here we go. That's good enough. Inside the bottom here, I don't pull a straight corner. I pull a curved corner because the inside of the moon jar needs to be rounded when you come to turn the bottom. So I tried not to make a definite square in the bottom like you would for a normal cylinder. So it helps if you hold a sponge in your fingers so you don't get any dry spots. It's important to compress the rim even more on these, because if the rim is nice and solid at the top, you can stretch it a lot more. This is 3 lengths of pulped clay that I use, and they're about 1.2 kilos, so they're about 3.5 kilos of clay here. That's what, 4 kilos, which is about £10, 8 or £10. Just getting the cylinder. The rim a bit more again. I'm starting to sort of form the rim of it quite early on. I might lose it again in a bit, but it gives me some idea of the thickness of my clay that I'm using. Make sure we're still in the picture. Yeah. Right, I'm going to do a coning pull now to get a bit of height on this. If you're doing this movement, pulling up, it's best to have the rim, this edge here, folded in, because it can tend, as you push it up, it tends to flare out. So just wet it and then stretch it up. It's a good way of getting a lot of height in your pot. Soak the rim again. Started to form the shoulder already here. I know 2 or 3 times I've fixed the rim, but I'm trying to get the idea of this angle here of the shoulder already when I start stretching it. Alright, check we're still in the screen. Yeah, still in the picture. Okay, starting off with a small rib for the inside the bottom corner. If I use the big rib, it sticks in and gouges, so just need to start this bottom off a little bit. Only a bit of water in the bottom, but we'll get rid of it. Okay. Now we move on to a bigger rib. This is just a normal bat, cut in half. It's a wooden bat. Just need to clean it up a little bit. At the point at which an apprentice comes in useful, isn't it? All this stuff's done for you in Japan. I'm going to use this from the bottom now. I won't drop it. You can see as I'm coming up to this shoulder now that it's actually going to form into the shoulder, so it helps having formed this part first, something to aim to. Compress the rim again. And now it's just a question of stretching it. I'm looking at this profile here as I'm looking across it. I'm adding a little bit of pressure on with my fingers as well, just to guide it over the form inside. And also there's a guy in America who puts me to shame, Kevin Russell, who throws me enormous pots, and he told me that you must keep pressure on the outside as well as the inside, otherwise the particles just stretch out. So the way to making big pots stand up is to keep the clay being pressed. So sometimes we'll use a rib on the outside just to add a little bit of compression. flat spot there. Just be careful when I'm pressing it out. This profile here is obviously sharper than this, so what I tend to do is on the inside, if you move the rib that way, you get a shallower profile on the pot. So if I'm pressing in like that, and then you can make it sharper by moving it in on side, so you have to be constantly moving it like this as you go up just to form it. Just need to get the hang of it. Not much clay coming off the inside of the pot, just a little bit of slurry. You notice I'm not wetting the inside of the pot. Just keep the back nice, just keep the rib nice and smooth. The more water I apply to this part here, the more it's going to sag, so you have to keep it fairly dry. I've also got, I don't have water in my bucket, it's slip. Push it a little bit more at the bottom. Always good at this point to get off and have a look at the profile of it. See if you can see any flat spots. I think we need a little bit of attention here. It's coming out. It's quite a nice pot. I've left there's quite a bit, I don't know if you can see it. There's quite a bit of clay left here, that's supporting it. I'll trim that away in a bit. That helps with supporting this angle here. I think we just have one more push. I'm barely touching the inside now with any kind of pressure. It's the delicatest, most delicate of touches. Try not to drop the rib inside and bash it. Well, there we have it. We'll just check the thickness. Find my pin again. I believe I've got a plethora of pins knocking about this place. Here we go. Right. Then it's 1/4 of an inch, 5 mil, 4 or 5 mil. There's the edge of it. That's how thick it is there. It's the same thickness all the way up. It'll get slightly thicker from that point down, obviously to hold it, but that'll get turned when it's finished. One last smoothing of the rim. Turn a little bit of this base away. With moon jars, it's always I always like to have the base, once I've turned it, the base narrower than the rim. I mean, the traditional Korean ones, this rim would be out here, but I like the closed in effect. Right, there we have it. One moon jar.